turns to gentle moaning and arm flapping. I start to realize this day program is seriously flawed. New assignment. Take a group out for lunch in the park. Easy.FLB. 3 autistic guys and a guy in a wheelchair. The autistic guys are chill. Wheelchair man, Steve, can be abrupt at times, but I don't mind him. Arrive at the park. Children frolicking, the sun is out. Get Steve on ground level. Supplies lunch. Can't I get paid for this? We're sitting by 3 children playing Nintendo DS. Their parents are 40 meters away. Sitting there, feeding the gulls my bread crust. Behind me, I hear a faint yet gentle, "Oh, yes." Nobody told me Steve is a pedophile. Steve has a massive hard-on. Head back, eyes closed, rubbing the outside of his crotch. He has transcended into another dimension. Try not to panic, kids. Firmly say, "Steve, stop." He snaps out of his animalistic dimension. Furiously, he tells me to stop it. My request has interfered with his orgasm. Fuck, parents are coming, need to bail. Quickly grab the back of his wheelchair, flee. Steve won't stop screaming, all the while the head of his dick is sticking out of his trousers. Literally throw his limp body onto the bus and peel off. Be in year 9, Brit fag. Changing for a boys' changing room. About 30 of us changing at once. One of them was Lewis. None of us were sure what was wrong with him, possibly Asperger's. Whilst Lewis was changing, one of the boys noticed Lewis was wearing SpongeBob shorts under his school trousers. "Hey, look at Lewis's shorts, he's gay." A few people laughed, most didn't, myself included. But everyone was looking at Lewis now. Lewis stood there with a blank expression on his face. It was clear he didn't know what to do with all this attention. Out of nowhere, Lewis pulls down his shorts, revealing a flaccid penis, which must have been 10 inches long. Everyone just loses their mind, shouting and laughing at this card's incredible package. He starts snorting like a pig. What? Due to all the commotion, the PE teacher runs in and shouts, "What the hell is going on in here?" Everyone goes quiet. Teacher stares at naked Lewis. Naked Lewis stares at teacher. Eye contact. Massive erection forms in the space of 5 seconds. Raging 14 inches. "Keep it down, boys." Teacher walks out. Be me. Work with retards at school. Easy A. First day of trimester. Wear my cowboy Halloween costume to school. Walk in first period. Walk up to my teacher. My fake lasso. Throw it out on the Downs McGee. Whisper in teacher's ear. I'm the Tar Wrangler. Suspended for 1 week. Worth. Be me. Professional Tar Wrangler. Work potato school. Most tards don't speak in an audible language. They prefer screeching. Wave. Wrangling my favorite of the tards because I like it. We will call him Chad. Cool kid.jpg. Probably doing math made for kindergartners. He is high school freshman. Chad had been student of the month for every month that I worked with him. While we were doing math, I thought it would be a good idea to look up across the classroom. Fellow Tard Wrangler was slacking off. Lazy bitch.png. Insert other tard into the class. To protect the not-so-innocent, he shall be referred to as Big Dick Larry. His dick literally looks like Larry from Veggie Tales. Background on Big Dick Larry. This nigga couldn't control his bladder to save his life. When this tard needed to go, he fucking went. Pants down and golden rain, no matter where he was or what the circumstances were. Also liked wearing socks on his hands like the potato he is. Also loved smacking his own head. I think he viewed his autism as a power level, and this fucker was leveling up. So as I was saying earlier, I decided to look up and stare at the lazy Tard Wrangler's glorious glutes. Badass.fmd. At the same time, Big Dick Larry decides to rip off his pants and show off his massive 10-inch tard boner. As if this was a movie, my sister in Wrangling turned around to witness the horror. This nigga decides to let the golden showers flow onto his lazy brain, refusing to move his screen as a show of dominance. My assigned potato, Chad, decides to slap my arm and try to get my attention. He's laughing hysterically at the whole ordeal. The lazy tard wrangler with 8 out of 10 ass decides to flee the room in shame. Big Dong Billy begins smacking his head in celebration of the victory. Day goes back to normal. I love my job. Being 6th grade, quiet, listless child. Local tard was named Julian. My friend Nick hated him. Julian was swinging on the swings during recess once, and Nick takes a 4-square ball and nails him in the back with it. It's raining tards. Julian falls off the swing and eats shit on the gravel. Gets up, face has a ton of scratches, and he's getting teary. Nick says, "Aw, look at him, guys, he's crying. Are you crying because you're retarded, Julian?" Julian slowly slinks off with his strange, heaving tard sobs. It was so fucking funny. Next day, the class is doing an activity in the gym, and we had to take our shoes off. Finish the activity, and as we go back and begin putting our shoes on, I hear Nick yell, "Someone pooped in my shoes!" Walk over, and sure enough, there's a nasty turd lounging in his shoe like it's a fucking jacuzzi. The turd has the unmistakable look of someone whose diet consists of Lego pieces and applesauce. Nick slowly mutters under his breath, "Julian, I know we're slamming on. I'm gonna beat him up." I was never the kid who would ask my friend to list the reasons, so I simply egged him on, knowing hilarity would ensue. Nick waits till recess, then goes to seek out Julian. Whole class knows what's going down, so we follow him. Find Julian in the back of the field eating tree bark. Shocker, JK. Nick walks up to him and shoves him. "Why'd you poop in my shoes, you dildo?" Julian gets up and slowly starts...
Stop your way down there.
What the fuck, JK? Somehow he musters the intellectual capacity to undo his pants and get them down. He's standing there in his briefs, just glaring at Nick. "What are you doing, Julian?" Nick asks, unsure of how to proceed. Nick pulls his briefs down and bears his package to all. Holy fuck, JPEG. His package is massive, and he grabs it and points it at Nick and screams, "You're making my lizard angry." God level, what the fuck, JPEG. Nick is sitting there dumbfounded when suddenly Julian explodes in motion and runs at him, flailing his giant tard-over package like a mace. Nick is so taken aback he falls over. Julian starts beating him in the face with his disgusting Tardzilla package. I almost shat my pants laughing. Be me, 17. Doing some filming with a group for class near Tard Block. Some gay love shit. We're about halfway done, filming a scene that's going on. Then Nigatard comes walking up. He walked in big steps and constantly spun his upper body in circles as he walked. He comes all the way to the camera, smears his greasy nigga fingers on the lens and shouts, "Camera, camera, camera." Everyone, what, JK? I say, "Yes, that's the camera." He instantly looks at me, hand still on the camera. "We're doing..." I say, "We're just filming for class." Nigatard walks up to me. Upper body is still spinning. "Can I be in film?" Say no. He screams at me. "But I want to, let me." Try to keep my cool. You can't be in the... He pushes me over with tard strength and towards the others in the class. Let me. He's going towards the camera. Real expensive shit. Oh shit, JK. I was responsible for the camera, so I only had one choice. Get up in charge of the Nigatard. My face when I trip. My face when I knock the camera off the tripod. face when the lens cracks and I have to pay for repairs. Fuck niggers and tards. Be me. Buying groceries in the store. Hear tards screeching from the vegetable section. My mind races to a green text I read about someone who was in the same situation as me, but didn't realize it was a tard, so he started playing dinosaur with the tard. Decided to play it cool and walk by the tard. Tard screeches more and more as I walk by. .exe has been successfully overclocked. Can't hold my laughter anymore. Lose my shit and start laughing like a maniac. I walk to the counter and pay for my groceries, still chuckling at the thought of the tard. 2 days later, I go to the same store. Vegetable section is closed off. Ask wage slave worker why. She says that someone had a heart attack. My face when they have security tapes of me laughing at a kid having a heart attack. Fuck. Be me. 4 years ago at high school. In math class with this tard. Let's call him Jack. Jack is this downy kid who was put in the normal classes because his parents thought that putting him into tard classes was discriminating. Despite this, Jack is failing every class. One day, during class, I decided to bring a can of Pepsi to snack on during the class. This is one of Jack's favorite drinks. He sees me drinking the Pepsi. Jack screams at the top of his lungs while saying the following, "That's my Pepsi!" Jack tries to tackle him. I try to throw the Pepsi out the window. Jack catches it, but falls out the window. I realize that this class was on the 3rd floor. Oh shit.abi. Look down the window. See Jack unconscious on the road. Teacher comes into the classroom. He finds out about the incident. I get expelled and got transferred to a new school. Also found out that Jack died. Remembered that Jack landed on the floor hard. 9th grade. My school was progressive and let the tards freely mingle with all the normals. Most of the tards were, well, tards. Oh, stood above the rest. Remington. The most alpha tard I've ever met. Dude didn't give a single fuck. I had every class with this guy. He would do the most absurd shit. We were in art class. Remington kills the work, asked to use the class computer. Teacher says yeah, Remington goes on, nothing big. 10 minutes pass, and suddenly the class is filled with the sound of lusty moans. I turn around and see Remington watching hardcore hentai in plain sight. Everyone notices, no one says anything. How we got past the web filter, I don't fucking know. Finally, after fucking forever, the teacher asks him to please stop the video. Remington just looks back and asks, why? I bust out laughing. High five Remington, get yelled at for encouraging him. Remington was my bro after that. It's lunchtime, me and my circle are in the school courtyard. Remington usually is there first, but for some reason he's late. Eventually he does show up, a little out of breath, good at the giggles. I ask him what's up, he gets all serious. He's a real. What? He reaches into his pockets and pulls out 2 pistols and panties to show me. Real. He laughs and runs off, throwing panties into the crowd, causing a panic. Tard wranglers rushed to the scene, but Remington gave them the slip, disappearing in the crowd. I didn't see him until 8th period, and halfway through the class, Wrangler showed up and took him away. He got off with a slap on the wrist. Cheap retard. Time to take the PSATs. I get to the testing rooms. Guess who's there? Remington. Alright, at the time, I didn't know you needed some kind of identification to take the test. I left all that shit at home. Start to panic. Fuck, it's over, man. Ask teacher, says, it's fine, I just gotta get another person to verify who I am when they call attendance. I ask Remington, he says okay. They start attendance and get to my name. Who can verify this is a nod? Remington stands up and booms. That is a nod! My fellow otaku in arms! fighting for his future today. Everyone is quiet except me, because I'm laughing my ass off. Is my word enough to identify my comrade? Teacher is shaken, just replies with a soft, yes. Affirmative. Please proceed, Sensei. Teach tries to continue. Remington shoots me a thumbs up and a wink. I could barely finish my test. I was too busy holding my sides together. In PE, we're supposed to be doing laps, but Teach doesn't give a fuck. Lets us do whatever. I'm hanging out with Remington and a few of my bros in the shade, watching the girls play tennis. Out of nowhere, Remington says, I want to play tennis. I try to convince him he can't. The girls are playing, they don't want us there, etc. Remington is having none of it. He just walks out to the court. 5 minutes later, he comes back. They won't let you play, huh? They said I need a partner, but no one wants to partner with me. He said it in a completely flat voice like normal, but I felt for the dude. Hey, Remington, I'll be your partner. Really an honor. Yeah. Just a note, I had absolutely no idea how to play tennis, but I couldn't leave my tard buddy hanging. We walk to the court, and all eyes are on us. The coach obviously told him he needed a partner as an excuse to not let him play. I mean, who would partner with the tard? Yeah. Anyway, we get set up with the gear and get in position. They let us serve, because tard. Remington serves the ball with the force of 1,000 sunny D's, gets us our first point. He single-handedly destroys them, me being a partner only in name. Afterwards, they demand a rematch, but Remington brushes them off, saying he's bored. He spends the rest of PE drawing in the dirt with a stick and talking about World War II. Alright, last story about Remington. It's why he had to leave my school. It's lunchtime. Remington is where we usually meet, only this time someone's with him. It's this chick with huge tits. Anon, leave a woman. She waves and says hi. Voice gives her away for a total mental tard. Just gutter noise. Everyone shows up. Remington introduces her to everyone. Everything is normal. Fast forward 20 minutes. We're done eating, just talking. And I notice Remington kissing his girl. I decide to cheer him on as a joke, boost his confidence instead. My friends join in and cheer him on as well. That's when he started to hit second base and put his hand down her pants. Or what? Right now, but Remington keeps going and pulls out one of her tits. Won't lie, pretty nice tits for a tard. At this point, a small crowd has shown up and is just losing its shit. Remington decides fuck it, whips out his cock, and just starts stroking. Did I forget to mention that his tard queen is just barking like a bitch in heat this entire time? Tard wranglers hit the scene, but Remington will not be denied. He fucking fights them with his tard strength, lays out one dude. Eventually, they take him down and drag him away, still erect. I never saw him at school again after that. I miss the tard. Done this before, but I'm fucking pissed as hell about life. I feel like I should share this story with you. I find it odd that it's taken 10 years and none of the fucking fags I knew in middle school have posted this story. But I just became single and feel like taking it out on people who made life a living hell once upon a time and were given great justice. Strap the fuck in, as this might take a while. So, B, I wish to tell you the legendary story of the Great Tard War.
Bandits.
Chapter 1, Powder Case. To know where this story is going to go, you need to know the setting. My middle school was essentially a square, with 4 main hallways all linked together. The front was where everyone came in. The opposite hall that ran parallel to it was linked to the cafeteria. The two other halls linking these and running parallel were for special class, art, cooking, and shit, and regular academic classes, math, reading, and shit. But buried far back, near the cafeteria and between the two main halls, were the tards. These weren't just tards. These were any fucker who no one didn't want around, and was populated by the worst dregs of humanity. Luckily, because their room was buried in the back, a seniority effect took place. You see, from the front hall, the further you went back, the older the students got. So basically, 6th grade was at the front of the school, 8th in the back, so the 8th graders with EXP boosts would most always be the first to see and deal with the tards. Chapter 2, Fuel. Keep paying attention, this shit is boring, but important. There was an old hag of a woman who controlled the tards, who we called Monitor. She was the mean, and treated her tards like little special shits their parents thought they were. Whenever you saw a tard, she would single you out and yell at you for staring at her. But deep down inside, she knew how dangerous these little fucks were. For you see, there was only one bathroom in the entire school that was considered tard-proof, and it was all the fucking way in the front of the school. So the tards, if they had to shit, would be wrangled up and dragged through the academic halls, causing all hell. Luckily, the old bitch knew how dangerous they were and would only take them out in between periods. So encounters with them were extremely rare. As rumor had it, the tards destroyed their own special tard bathroom and had to use an industrially secure bathroom located in front. Then things fucking changed. For our school was being torn down to build a new one to make things more multicultural. The old Monitor bitch was retiring, and we got a socially repressed liberal to replace her, who was going to be assisted by all teachers and staff to accept the tards as equals. The new liberal bitch, who we shall call Libby, made one change immediately, which was to have tards interact with us fellow students by taking them to the bathroom while class changed, so they could interact with the rest of us. Okay, now you can start paying attention again. Chapter 3, The Spark. The fateful day came early. While everyone changed classes, the tards were unleashed to make the long, hard walk from their den of tarddom to the secure bathroom in the 6th grade area. As Libby found the tards to be gentle giants, tard wrangler support was lax. Instead of the previous protocol, which was to have tards handled the entire way, wranglers would just leave the fucking tards outside the bathroom. But some tards are not created equal. A kid named Mark was at his locker opposite the tard while everyone passed. But Mark made the mistake of ignoring him. One downy kid just stood there, staring at Mark, as he desperately tried to ignore the horrors lurking behind him. And then, the downed kid took a small squat, and his face grew red as he dropped a log onto the floor below him. As tards are apt to do, the downy kid picked up said turd of mysteries and crossed the forbidden line to Mark and began smearing his shit all over his backpack. Mark, unaware of the ungodly situation, turned slowly with shit smeared on his face. He screamed and punched the downy kid, to which he let out a tard yell of thunder and began smashing Mark's skull into his locker. Blood and shit everywhere. The other tards yelped in fascination, as they had never seen one of their kind engage in such a beautifully violent act. They fought for 5 minutes, until some Libby showed up and separated them. It was only then we got to see the damage, as Mark's face was covered in shit, the tards and blood. Libby claimed that Mark initiated the fight, and that the staff had to seriously protect the tards from the dangers of the rest of the school. Mark was suspended and had to take antibiotics for the poisonous shit. The tard lost a tooth. But this was not the end. Something horrible changed in these tards. Chapter 4, Rising. In the chapter on setting, I mentioned the school was being torn down and rebuilt.
The strategy was to rebuild over a useless football stadium, transfer everyone there, tear down the old school, and then build a new stadium over that. Now a few more details that are kind of necessary. This all happened in the South, where years of being too fucking conservative mattered more than practicality, which meant, apart from stupid shit like Libby, the school was more than happy to make the worst fucking decisions in favor of political correctness. So, and this is the important bit, Hispanics, niggers, and Asians were given no shit for their culture. The only opt you had, if you were white, was to claim depression over your heritage. So people and their activities were largely ignored. Niggers sold drugs in the bathroom, Hispanics had sex, whites would get high, and Asians would operate some shit loan shark about homework questions. Basically, the entire racial stability of the school hinged on the activities in the bathrooms. This is where the war goes from a turret smearing shit into someone's face to it being an all-out war of niggers, spics, Asians, and whites versus the tards. Well, you see, as the new school was slowly built, classrooms would be open for students to use while parts of the old school would be destroyed. And the first students to get use of this new school were the tards. At first, this was great. Fuck the tards. Let them have their new shit and leave us alone. Libby demanded tards get it first. Then, an announcement one day. No more bathrooms. For you see, B, in the minds of these tards, they have realized that they, as primitive beasts, must make a mark for all to see, to make claims on things they believe as theirs, like pissing on a tree or coming in a woman to make a claim. The tards elected to rip an entire fucking sink out of a wall of a new school. Chapter 5, Storming the Gates. The principal threw a fit and demanded a halt to all bathroom activities without supervision. The entire ground to a fucking halt.
Are you all right?
No one in their right mind would compromise such a lucrative outgrowth, except for the tards. Everyone was pissed, and the tards were wrangled back into the regular system, although Libby still dragged their asses through the halls to shit. Everyone learned to hate them. All the races and creeds set aside their differences to do everything in their power to ruin these tards. Downy kids had glasses stolen, Aspies had shit thrown at them, and everyone would walk by the tards and would shout, "Dude," at them. Obviously pissing them off, but in the rabble of a shitty middle school, they couldn't do anything. Tard wranglers couldn't do shit because everyone covered everyone else. It was a good way of getting back at them for fucking up everything. Chapter 6, War Changes. One day, during the cold, dry winter days, the war changed. Heroes emerged among the tards to rally and stop us. These were known as the Black Turds. They got this name from the pure black of the shit they were eating nothing but crackers and carrots. All of the most horrible-looking downy kids you've ever seen, who secretly carry shit among their fellow tards, and quietly toss it into a crowd of students like a hamburger. Obviously, Libby wasn't going to stop taking the tards to the bathroom just for that, and blame the shit show on us for harassing the tards. The principal changed the rules back to the monitor's way of doing things so they had less contact. So peace broke out. The Black Turds' operations involved using shit in black fountains and on door handles. After a while, no one opened them. During lunch, students threw things at the tards and still made the food, but to little effect. Soon, the janitorial staff caught on, and the code of oranges, which was the signal for shit in the hallway, became a norm. We were, for a little while, able to contain the Black Turds by working janitors to sanitize their messes, but it only lasted so long. Chapter 7, The Chosen One. Jeffries was a dangerous, short, downy kid you wouldn't think anything of. It was rumored he wasn't really a tard, but a high-functioning autist that was just bounced around from school to school for various reasons. When he showed up, he took control of the Black Turds in secret. but he earned their trust another way. During lunch, Jeffries was able to escape his wranglers and wander the halls. New to this foregone realm, he encountered strange humanoid creatures of a female variety. To a Tard, these creatures heard him, and Jeffrey had to assume dominance over their lives. He returned to his Tard wranglers victorious by ripping a shirt from a girl. Libby, of course, did jack shit, and claimed the girl he victimized was harassing him while he explored. But in reality, he had become the Alpha Tard, commander of the Black Turds. He slowly managed to earn the Wranglers and Libby's trust by volunteering to lead his Black Tards to the Tard-proof bathroom without assistance. Libby thought she had won a fucking Nobel Prize as, finally, a Tard who understands. The Black Turds, under Jeffries, changed their plans by leaving only logical shits in every bathroom they could find, ruining the still desperately operating underground economy by throwing shit all over the bathroom, black as ink and smelling as if God himself had abandoned us. Libby brushed these off as accidents, and Code Oranges became the norm again. Chapter 8, Losing the War. Jeffries became a target. It was obvious if he broke in, the Black Turds would fall with their leader. The plan involved a water balloon filled with piss and cum that would be thrown at him. This assassination attempt was carried out in early spring, when hot piss and cum would smell the most awful. A Nignog kid was to carry out the hit, as he was in trouble to begin with and had been hit hardest by the closing of the bathrooms. His entire trade had collapsed, and he was out for revenge. During lunch, under the cover of the commotion, he walked by Jeffrey. The balloon hit its mark, but fell onto Jeffrey's lunch while the nigger ran for cover from the Wranglers in charge. Jeffries let out a scream as if to summon his horde for battle. But the opposite happened. Screams stopped, whooping stopped. Silence. It was as if Jeffries, through his Tarddom, had complete control and was letting us all know. The Nignog was suspended, fucker, and we could see the fruits of his failure the next day when the heat reached its highest point. I myself was returning from an outdoor gym class when the fire alarms went off. People were flooding out from the school, covering their noses. Janitors were being called for an emergency code orange. All classes were suspended for an entire hour before we all knew what happened. Jeffries and his Black Turd team had done their worst. Chapter 9, Aftermath. The lockers at my school had little slits in them. I don't know why. But these small slits were Jeffries' target. He and his Black Turd team had shoved shit into every locker they could find. Liquid shit was sprayed into lower lockers. And when they ran out, they ran up and down the main academic hall, covering locker faces with whatever shit they had left. The entire 7th grade hall was temporarily, as the lockers had to be disinfected. But this wasn't the end. All lockers were then to be immediately cleaned without notice to check for any shit that might still be in them. Contraband from niggers' drug trade was found. Condoms, porn, everything, causing mass suspensions. Any items within the lockers that had shit in them were thrown away, regardless of their condition. We lost the war, as Jeffries and his Black Turds had just another accident and couldn't hold it in. The various leaders of our force were defeated. Jeffries had won. Libby defended him, and there was nothing we could do. Chapter 10, Salt in It. We had lost. Everyone had been forced to accept the Tard's control as law. Jeffries was a mad king. But then the day came. One day it began to rain. I was in gym with the Tards. Gym was specially segregated by class, there being 4 classes, 1 for each grade, and 1 for the Tards. Usually separated, but not today. For because it was raining, we were all trapped inside. What better game to play in gym than the wide game of dodgeball? Let me introduce Ignacio. Ignacio was a quiet spick who had not engaged in any anti-Tard activities, but had been personally victimized. All his hard-done schoolwork was thrown away when his locker was filled with shit. Just another casualty of the Great Tard War. But today was his day, and he took opposite side to Jeffries. During the game, Jeffries was bounding around like the tard he was, as he expected that no one would dare harm him knowing full well the revenge he would unleash. Ignacio didn't have anything to lose here. Chapter 11, Hard Target. It was in this moment of the chaos of a school-wide dodgeball that Ignacio found his target. The rage of nearly failing some of his classes and knowing that his possessions had been covered in shit had brought him and Jeffries here. He acquired a ball and homed in. Jeffries was jumping around on one leg, oblivious. Ignacio threw his ball with the fury of an angry Thor. It flew with such grace and speed that it ignited the very oxygen as it passed. Jeffries in the off leg while he was jumping, knocking him off balance and sending him face first into the cold wood floor of the gym. It was in this moment he slowly began to raise his head, to sound the tard alarm or screeches of pain. But within the space of this time of going down and rising, Ignacio acquired another ball and let this fly. With the force of a railgun it flew. The time was perfect, as Jeffries was only a second away from releasing a tard scream of pain, that the ball smashed into his face, shattering his glasses and sending him face first back into hell. Chapter 12, Sunrise. Some who had witnessed the event stood in shock and awe, while the less observant continued the game. It was as if all the good in the world had finally returned, and then a pool of blood formed under Jeffries' mangled body. The game immediately stopped. The gym teachers and tard wranglers had been off their game today, too content knowing things would set themselves correctly. The Black Turd team, which had ruined everything we held dear, were in awe at the fall of their leader. Finally, a wrangler noticed that the balls had stopped flying, and there was Jeffries. He immediately ran to his aid, shooing everyone away. Paramedics were called, the rain stopped, and Jeffries was taken away. A gleam of sunshine fell upon that magnificent chariot of an ambulance as it took away the shattered remains of one so horrible. Final chapter, Decimation. Jeffries had a broken nose, that's fucking it. But his mommy ordered an investigation of the school, and wouldn't you know it, some shit flew. Jeffries was removed, as he was considered too dangerous for normal humans, and the Black Turds could no longer hold together without their leader. Police found and dismissed various assault charges, vandalism, etc., but did find an odd security tape hidden with Libby. For you see, in the paranoia of the school, a series of cameras were installed which showed they were responsible for tearing out the sink in the new school. Libby had hidden this evidence and was fired. H. The old school was torn down. All students were moved to the new one, except the fucking tards. They were placed in special tard quarantine outside the school in what basically amounted to a shed near the football field. Their bathroom became a series of leftover outhouses from the workers, and not a single person ratted Ignacio out. He shall go on a legend in my heart. Denver and the Question. First, some backstory. Denver is a short, pudgy, annoying tater tot that had a really squished face and moderately long hair. I'm probably forgetting larger details, for this happened about 2 years ago now. On to the tale of Denver. Be me. Be a 9th grade tater patch. Fuck my life. Be at end of day. Go to tater pickup with friends. Denver is there. Goddamn.fml. Denver is playing in the snow. It sees us. Fuck. Butterball chromosomes come over to us. It thinks my friend, let's call him Jay, is its best spud. Downver starts talking to us. Denver also has this really fucking annoying ass high-pitched voice that gets on the nerves of anyone it talks to. After 5 minutes, it waddles away. Finally, .jpg. Me, Jay, and my other friend, we'll call him E, start throwing snowballs at the side of the school. Teachers get angry. We then walk to where the jokes of God, if he even exists, get picked up. There are quite a few spaces of tar there. From autists to lumbering downers, we've got them all. So do the wheelchair downers, they shall be called wheelers from now on, are making and noises.
Take care.
So Jay is playing in the snow again. He throws a snowball at him. He misses. Danger Denver sees the snowball. It starts waddling towards us. Oh shit, .jpg. No tard rage. In fact, it's waddling slowly and calmly. It's waddling almost as slowly as its brain functions. Dare my other friend, let's call him L, to ask how big Dinger's Denver is. We walk towards Denver. L asks how big it really is. It says, "Is this big?" It holds its finger about 6.25 centimeters apart, 2.5 inches for Americans. Me, J, L, and E lap our sides into orbit. Tard rage activate.mp4? No. It seems calm. No, in fact, it's holding its head high and it's confident. Then it fucking says it. It said, and I quote, "You never got hard." Bruh, this crummy homie is 13 and says he never got a boner. We kick our sides back into orbit. Tard rage? No, it's still confident. It then gets on its tard bus. From then on, we now call him Drumroll, please. Baby Dave Denver. Denver also used to suck his pen. This nigga was gayer than me, and I would fucking try.
Lighting the brazier! I'll pin him! What are you doing? Think you're special?
Work as a janitor for a high school. Nice school to work for. Then, one day, the school gets a downy kid named Jerry. Jerry is rude, messy, and always shits in the which seems to be every single fucking time you speak to him. School's out, and I'm mopping the floors. Jerry comes waddling around the corner and sees me. I stare. Points at me, laughs, then scuttles away. Next day, after school, cleaning the bathrooms on the upper floor. I just finished and left when I hear a loud crash and glass breaking. Oh, hell no, not everywhere. Jerry and one other tired kid are trashing the bathroom. Garbage cans filled the mirrors, stall doors ripped off the hinges, and a fucking sink ripped out of the wall. My face went up. It's war. The other janitors and maintenance crew noticed a little fun nugget too. We began calling Jerry and the tard he's friends with Gippy and the Stain. Jerry always shits himself, Stain. And the tard kid he's always with drags one foot. Gippy. Well, after a school dance, I notice Gippy, but not Stain. Looking up, I spy Jerry dragging a trash can up to Gippy. Gippy grabs it and, using his tard strength of 1,000 dirts, proceeds to hurl it up into the light fixture above him, shattering it to pieces. Then the duo proceeds to run around the hall, screeching and whooping. My face went. Part 3. At this point, it's 2-0, and I need to get the little bastard back. I notice that he's always in the art room after school, where one of the hot teachers always stayed late. Following him, I notice he's attempting to flirt with her, and leaning in to smell her butt as she picks up trash around her room. When he's about to ask her something, I barge in and tell her one of the assistant admins needs her. He gives me this hate-filled look as I smile and wave, walking away with my broom across my shoulder. A minor victory. The next day, I notice that he has the last lunch of the day. I watch him wander outside with the rest of the tards to do outdoor exercises. I calmly walk out there and inspect the lawn, then chat with the tard guards. When they call them all back, Jerry spies me and takes off in the opposite direction. I turn on the sprinklers full force. Jerry's now running around on the field, screaming in his own language, all while pointing at me and blubbering. Our face when his tard guard and I watched him full force face plant into a goalpost and then try to stand up in the mud. With the score 2-1, I needed to figure out something else. Jerry was prone to masturbating furiously and then raging hardcore if he even sensed a banana or heard the word. When he sets his lunch down and goes to get a drink, I wander up and the place is filled with bananas of all kinds, mashed, unpeeled, pickled, and rotten, then walk away. I watch as he walks up, looks around, then starts screeching and flailing his arms wildly, knocking his tard guard onto the ground and doing some sort of tard ritual that involves humping the table. Then he spots me. Oh, fuck.api. My face went. He full-on charges at me. He proceeded to slip and fall down, and then slip and slide his way down the hallway where the Wranglers secured him. Now at 2-2, we were even, and I was willing to let it go now and leave him alone for good. But no, Gimpy and the Stain had another plan cooked up. On the last week of school, they stayed after. I was too busy trying to help the drama department move shit off the stage so they didn't destroy the lights. As I was busy, they snuck into one of the janitorial closets and shit in a mop bucket, filling it with water and then using 2 mops to smear the shit water all over a nice clean hallway. As I'm rounding the corner, an awful, soul-killing stench wafts from this direction. What in God's name did he die? I round the corner to see the 2 smelling shit down the hall and splattering it on the walls and the lockers. They see me, reach down into the bucket and grab mounds of shit, and then they try to charge me. It seems they forgot that they used shit water on the floor and it was still wet. They both slipped and fell into their own mess. Tried to get up and slipped again. I was trying not to bust up from laughter as Gimpy was having a full-on fit, just shaking on the ground and screeching. Looking like a cock he was going around so fast. My face went up. I called up the administrators and the school police officer, but they didn't respond. I called up a few other janitors who were horrified at the scene. They helped me unroll some plastic sheeting, take 2 mops, and tentatively reach over the lake of feces. Gimpy and Stain both latched on. We pulled them onto the sheets, wrapped them up, and hauled them off to the tard room, and locked them in there until the administrators arrived. In that time, he had taken a stake at the windows, tried to climb out, found it too high, climbed back in, broke the door window, tried to unlock it from the outside, couldn't reach, and then just began flailing against the walls, smearing shit everywhere, and even on Gimpy. They both got into a fight, slapping each other in the face, and then Stain did the desk humping ritual again when he pinned Gimpy to the floor. The admins called his mother, and Gimpy's mother, to come get them, along with 2 police officers. She tried to press charges, saying that I was tormenting her son, and I showed the cops the security camera footage of them breaking the lights and then smearing the hallway with shit. In the end, his mother had to pay the damages and clean up the hallway tard room by herself. As I watched with a smile, Gimpy was suspended, and Stain was never heard from again. And that, my friends, is how the war was won. I got to keep my job and get rid of the gruesome twosome. BB, grade 9. This low-functioning autist named Sophie. She bites her arm so much that she looks like a vitriol victim with warts all over her. Due to the bus hierarchy I talked about, we were at the back of the bus. That means we are in charge of helping people out of the emergency door and evacuation drills. Me and a kid that we will call Ty are lifting kids off the bus in one of the wheels. Sophie is up next. I had a real fear of even coming near her disgusting body. She jumps off the bus, and Ty has half of her, but I just kept my hands near so it looked like I helped carry her off. This results in her face planting right into Ty's chest. Sophie touches him all over his face. Ty shoves her off while cursing like a sailor. He is pissed. We kind of forgot about it until a few days after. One day he comes to school visually pissed off. He shows me his hands and arms. They are covered in warts and rash. I regret nothing. I saved myself. I used to drive for a taxi company. Taxi was okay, but we also had to drive tards to and from their schools. Be me. Pick up a tard named Tammy at school. Massive 12-year-old with long, greasy hair. 250 pounds. 5 foot 6 inches tall. Always smelled like she had just shit herself. Always made her sit in the back seat. She would always rock back and forth, so hard it would make the car, a big Crown Vic, pitch back and forth. Tammy's rocking back and forth and talking to herself. The route takes us across a river, over a long, narrow 2-lane bridge. Halfway across the bridge, a sudden wave of stench from the back seat. Tammy screams like a kindergarten class burning alive. Pooping you! Smashes me in the side of the head with a book. Car swerves into the guardrail, but I manage to get it under control, so it just sideswipes the steel rail. Sparks pouring out the side of the car as the doors and fenders grind against the rail. More screaming.
I know you did not just whack me with that.
I pull over, get on the radio with my dispatcher. Send another car over
Oh,
here
you
and pick up this
nippers, wet feet, fucking
I'm
wet.
not taking her another goddamn 100 yards. I tell my boss I'm never driving 10 to the target. Only drive taxi from now on. No car wrangling. Feels good, man. Dr. Peg. Be me. 6 years old. Go to a small grade 1 through 9 school of only 140 people or so. This means that the retarded kids are integrated with the others because of a lack of staff. There was one tard there that made my life hell until he graduated
She
when I
lies
was
here
in 5th grade.
with her son and daughter.
Daniel. 6 foot tall, muscular behemoth with downs.
I see Terra Moon
Every
also
day you
paid
could
the
hear him
price
having
for his
meltdowns over the
recklessness.
pettiest shit.
I warned him
And then
that his
ransacking the
rebellious
entire
nephew
school
would
until
be
the vice
tormented
principal
supper.
disputed.
What happened?
I'm on the
They
bus
saw
home
the
after a
soldiers
long
coming
day at
and
school.
hid in the cellar.
We have a
But
bus
the
hierarchy
soldiers
like
burned
most
the house
schools
to the
where the
ground to
younger
teach
kids sit in
everyone a
front of the
lesson.
bus. So along with the other little kids, I was up front.
Put the body down
Older
there.
kids, of course,
They
could
will
stay
journey
back.
to the door together.
Except for Daniel. He had to sit in
So
the
many
bus
deaths in the
with little
Wahats.
kids.
We cannot
So the
give
driver
them a
could
Papa
keep an eye
Bear.
on him. He gets rewards from the makeshift
It's
target.
not your rebelliousness that got you killed, Steady.
Ranging from playtime explorers to play with to a VHS tape to take home. As I was saying, I was on the bus. Daniel was sitting behind me. Oh my God. Out of nowhere, he lets out a mighty screech and takes his VHS tape and bashes me over the head with it as hard as he can. The fucking thing snapped in half. The whole thing makes a scene, and the bus driver slams on the brakes. People start to notice I'm bleeding from my head. It's pretty bad. I feel a wiggling feeling from the wound, and then a sharp pain. The driver just pulled out a piece of plastic from the VHS tape stuck in my fucking head. My parents are called, and I'm taken home in my mom's car. On the way home, I see a police car headed to the scene. I have plenty more stories about Daniel. Just ask if you want some. Or Daniel. Alright. BB, 2nd grade, gym class. Gym teacher wants to try to integrate us with the tards, so she has Daniel join my gym class. We are practicing jumping over a vault with a springboard. I get pretty good at it, and eventually I'm able to jump over it without touching it. Now it's Daniel's turn to use the springboard. He jumps over the vault pretty well. He completely clears it, in fact. It's my turn again to jump on the vault. Daniel is right behind me. I jump on the springboard and try to launch myself over the vault, but I clip my foot and fall face first into the crash mat. But I was okay. I was okay, until I turned over and saw Daniel in midair, right over the top of me. Oh shit, thought JPG. Daniel literally holds out his elbow and slams himself onto me. His elbow digs into my chest and knocks the wind right out of me. I roll off the crash mat, completely unable to breathe. I literally felt like I was going to die. The teacher never saw it, so Daniel gets off with just a slap on the wrist. I was pretty good friends with everyone in gym class, so they got pretty pissed off when they saw Daniel do this. After this point, everyone hates Daniel. Here's another one. B&E, 4th grade. Daniel is physically stronger than ever. For some reason, Daniel got really pissed off one day. I'm in the computer lab working on an assignment. The computer lab is in the middle of the school. All it takes is to walk outside of your classroom and you will see the computer lab. This goes with every single classroom.
More than he had here.
All of a sudden, I hear a colossal roar coming from one of the classes. I look over the walls of the computer lab to see what's going on. Daniel Naruto runs out of his classroom and goes through the computer lab to the other side of the school. This is quite commonplace, so I go back to working on my assignment. I keep hearing the noises of things going on all over the floor in the distance, but I think nothing of it. I finish my assignment and get ready to pass it into the teacher who is in my classroom. I get up from my chair and look over the computer lab wall and see that in the hallway there are building blocks, plastic toys, geometry equipment, and pencils all over the floor in the hallway. This motherfucker went from room to room, taking whatever he could and throwing it outside of the door to the hallway, all while screaming. Later on, I found out that it took both the vice principal and the principal to subdue him this time. Last one I could think of. 12 years old. Daniel doesn't go to our school anymore, but he still lives in the area. At the mall with my mom. We're just finishing up our shopping, and I was pretty happy to be leaving. In the distance, I hear a scream. It never crossed my mind until I remembered what it was, and all the memories came rushing back. It's Daniel. I see him Naruto run at sonic speed out of Zellers when it was around. He shoves an old lady out of the way, and then a young boy, not losing even a bit of speed while doing so. I see 2 security officers run out of Zellers, chasing after him. He runs right into the main doors, shattering the glass. Unfazed by this, he calmly walks out of the doors and leaves. That was the last I ever saw of the legend of